Hi Stacey. So today we're going to be launching our series, and it's the start of us answering all the questions that our clients have had over the last few months. On the menu this week, we're going to be talking about the field of digital marketing. We know digital marketing is becoming increasingly important and has been for a number of years, but the recent COVID-19 crisis has accelerated the need for savvy digital marketing at a rate beyond what many were expecting. We're going to be having several chats in the coming days about this, but I want to start with some of the basics. So just to kick us off, what is digital marketing? Can you give us a quick summary of the field before we dive in?
Yeah, so I'm just going to keep this very simple. The way I look at it is the promotion of goods or services via the internet and using different channels and different sources on the internet to promote your product or service.
So digital marketing isn't just social media and PPC advertising, is it? Do you think a lot of companies don't quite appreciate the full depths and nuances of the field?
The problem that we have is you've got your primary digital channels that people seem to know and people seem to understand a lot more and hear a lot more about. So social media and PPC are some of your main ones, and then you've got the likes of SEO and possibly display advertising. And these are the most popular channels that the companies do use. However, there is so much that you can do on the internet. There's so many other ways that you can promote your services. There's so many other ways that you can drive traffic to your website, and it isn't just by utilizing those channels individually. And one of the problems that I see that companies have is that they will look at these channels as individual channels, if you like, where they work fantastic on their own independently. However, they are and they should be used collectively for that maximum exposure and that maximum impact. So no, it isn't just social media and PPC. There are other channels and are other things that fall in line with promoting your business and services on the internet.
So you mentioned there that quite often companies can treat their digital channels individually. That sounds like it might be a quite common mistake. What would you say are the three most common mistakes that people make with their digital marketing?
I would say the first one is not having a strategy. And the reason why this is important, you wouldn't start a business without having a business plan. So you shouldn't really be doing any marketing without having a strategy, without having a marketing plan. This enables you to avoid a lot of time wasting, spending a lot of money, and it gives you that focus and a clear direction of where and how you should be promoting your business. So not having a strategy is one, and the strategy not being tailored to the audience. What a lot of companies do is they think about their business and they create their marketing plan based on what it is that they offer or what it is that they feel their audience would want. And your strategy really should be tailored, and your marketing should be tailored to your targeting audience. Every strategy is bespoke, because every strategy should, like I say, be tailored specifically to your audience. So that's another mistake that companies make. They don't do that. Finally, not having a multi-channel approach. As I said earlier, you've got your independent channels, but bringing those together has so much more impact than just looking at them individually. And when you're measuring, you should be measuring the customer journey as a whole and every touch point, and looking at that from an attribution point of view. And companies aren't really doing that. They're looking at these channels independently and keeping these channels operating in silos, which they work, but it's more effective if you bring them together. So those are the three mistakes that I see companies making at the moment.
Oh, that's really interesting. So conversely, what would you say is the one very best thing that a company can do to improve its digital marketing?
Research is one of the things. understanding your customer base. So there are a lot of companies that I've gone into, and I'm not going to name any names, but when I've started conducting an internal audit for that company, you know, one of the questions that I've asked is, okay, you know, tell me about your target audience. And you know, some companies don't understand their audience, and consumer behaviour has changed, purchasing patterns have changed. We've got more customers that are more informed, more demanding, more knowledgeable as well. So, you know, not having that understanding of the customers is something that companies really need to start looking at. So that's one of the things that I would recommend.
You obviously have a really, really in-depth knowledge of digital marketing and all of its many facets, but I'm really interested to know, which area of digital marketing are you most passionate about and why?
So many. I'm passionate about more so performance marketing, just because it's a results based framework where, you know, you pay for the results that you get. So I'm passionate about that. But if I had to say the one thing that I always talk about when I'm delivering training would be strategies. It's the one area that I don't think any company should be operating without. So because of that reason, and knowing what it means to have one and what it means to not have one, I'd probably say strategy is my preferred area.
So based on that, what would your advice be to a company looking to work on their digital marketing but they aren't sure how to get started? You know, should they start with the basics of social media, or should they start with a strategy? And if you want them to start with a strategy, then where do you start with a strategy?
So what I would advise is, in the first instance, you've got companies that you know, do have some resources, or they do have some people that they, you know, that they are working with that can assist them and that can help them, that are advising them. What I would say to companies starting out is to speak to an expert. So many things change in digital, and so often, and when you're in a company or you've got staff, you know, it's really hard to stay up to date with the latest trends. And as I said, things change so much. So I would always advise to speak to an expert in the first instance. An expert will stay up to date. It's what they live, breathe, it's what they know. And there's nothing wrong with that, getting that expert advice in the early stages, just getting a bit of consulting in terms of the business and where you want to go, and just a bit of knowledge in the areas of digital. And then I'd probably look at trying to do a strategy, but understanding the mechanics of a strategy and how to do a strategy. So I'd start with the expert advice, and then I'd move on to the creation of the strategy.
It's just as well that's something that SNB Digital and HLA Global are very capable of offering to our audience then.
Yes.
Thanks for that really insightful chat. I mean, I've learned a lot already, and you know, we're only just getting started. So now that we've kind of covered off the basics of digital marketing and where it is now, next time I really want to pick your brain about how you see it evolving into the future. I hope everybody has enjoyed our chat today and will join us next time for the future of digital marketing.